Hey everyone, Megan here. Um, so it's been a while since I made another video diary, and it's been crazy. It's been a very big case of ask and you shall receive. Because for a while I was asking for help. I just needed help with feeling lonely and being kind of lost every day, and then going from, you know, being what I thought was normal to being bipolar. I just said for a while that I needed help. And, I finally got that help. I was awesome. My friend decided to stay with me on a more permanent basis. So he and I are not only am I getting help, but I'm also kind of getting romantically involved, which is kind of nice because it's been a long time, and with a kid it's not easy. Romance is not easy with a kid, even with him. The thing about um, having this extra help, though, he's awesome. My son loves him. He's a little bit exhausting, though. I mean, well, my son is a bit exhausting because he's always trying to get him to play with him and toss him upside down and do the bouncy bounce, and it's like almost like I don't get a chance to really be with him because my son gets him. But then at night, it's just the two of us, and finally get that alone time, and it's been really cool, to be honest. I'm happy that I finally got what I've been asking for this whole time, which was just help. Help with a lot of things. My bipolar diagnosis is not easy, especially considering the fact that my health is back. It's the same person that was able to help me sort out a lot of the delusions I was having. And it makes it a little scary for me because, I'm realizing that a lot of shit was that I did was not only delusional but crazy. Like, I parked my car and I rode in the tractor trailer with some random person that I didn't know, and he brought me to a church. And I thanked him and I kept going, but in my head, he was meant to do that. Everything was laid out in place, but he wasn't there to do that. He was just there, and I just happened to jump inside of his cab. And I've never done that before, just jump inside of somebody random's cab. And then when I was at the church, I was just standing there and I followed a couple of people, and I must have scared them so badly because I was following them, which was never my intention. I was just sitting there trying to figure everything out, and it wasn't coming to pieces properly. That's why I never left the church site. And then when nighttime came, I started walking from behind the houses, and something told me to go into one of the houses and look for whoever it was I was trying to find. And I actually did go in a house, and it was crazy because there was three grown men in there, and anything could have happened. In my head, I was where I was supposed to be. I was doing exactly what I was supposed to do. But I'm glad things turned out the way they did, that I didn't get hurt, and that people were kind enough to kind of show me back to my house as politely as possible without completely telling me I was crazy. Never again. And the same thing, I feel like what I did with my son, packing him up in the middle of the night and sticking him in the car so that way we could drive around and look at clouds forming. It was weird, and the reason why I did it was because in my head I was supposed to. Somebody was testing me. Somebody was testing my theories and my cloud reading abilities. So I just decided to go and show them it, because that person was never there, though. It feels a lot like the movie A Beautiful Mind, where all these delusions, they are so real to him, but to people on the outside, they're just that. They're just delusions. And for me, they were so real. Everything was so real. Everything was so meant to be this way, this way, this way, and that I would eventually get off on a jet plane and find myself in this big, beautiful life, all of a sudden thrust in the spotlight with my son. And obviously, stuff like that doesn't happen. Like the town of Meriden was not working with me. Like everybody was still doing their own thing. I was just confused, is the right word. because I'm still confused. I don't know what made me think all these things and what triggered me and set me off, but I'm happy that it's been straightened out and that, I wake up and I realize what I did and where I was and how dangerous it really was to do all that, because it'll make me never want to do it again. So that way, if the delusions ever came back, I'll know better than to do all these things, because then I'll say to myself, well, watch, at the end of the day, I'm going to come back and I'm going to end up being something or something, and that's not good. It's just not good. My son he didn't deserve to miss out on Halloween, and unfortunately he did, because mommy's delusions were at its height at that point. And unfortunately, he missed out on a lot of things because of me, and I feel terrible. I never wanted him to not be Gecko for Halloween. I wanted him to do all this, but I even drove to this random house and sat outside waiting for somebody to come outside and take their walk of shame because they were cheating on my boyfriend, or they were trying to steal my shit, and they needed to know that they needed to bounce. That's the kind of delusion that I was having, was that somebody was trying to take what was mine. Somebody was trying to take literally like my whole life. But didn't understand why, and now I understand it. It was just one big delusion, and I wish we could turn it into a Hollywood story, to be honest, because there's so many crazy little things that happen. It probably would make for a good story, considering. Anyways, I wanted to just make a journal entry because I haven't made one in a while, and even though I'm not feeling quite as lonely anymore, I'm still anxious and feeling, I don't know, displaced because of all the things that I'm coming to the realization of, realizing what happened and what I did and how far it really went. It's scary. It's really scary. But I'm happy that I finally have all of it worked out in a sense. And I know that my delusions got triggered by my own self because of the things that I was doing. Nobody should talk to themselves. Even though I do talk to myself, it's better to try and talk to somebody and to try and get out there, because when you talk to yourself, you can convince yourself of all types of crazy shit. And that's what I did, is I convinced myself that it was all real, that it was like the mafia coming after us, and that's who he was working for. So he had a lot of ins, and they were testing my psychic abilities, and I never realized that that's thinking I have a superpower. And it's like, I never thought I had a superpower. I was trying to prove that I didn't have a superpower. But there you go. I was proving that I didn't have something that people thought I had, even though nobody thought I had anything. I was the one who was coming up with all this. It really is scary, knowing that you can hear voices, knowing that you can make up all these elaborate scenarios and still play them out, without ever realizing it at the time that was just what it was. It was just a scenario, because at the time you couldn't tell me that somebody wasn't coming after me. That was part of the reason why I wasn't home, was because I was scared somebody was in my house. Now when I hear noises in the house, I realize it's just the cat or the dog or just something stupid. But for a while there, I really did think somebody was in my house. And somebody was watching cameras. They were watching me. They were watching the way I parent. They were watching everything. So that's why everything started falling apart. But in reality, people were watching, but not that closely. And what they were watching, they decided I needed help. And I'm glad, because I did need help. Not that, me turning into a missing person should have been the way I got it. But that's sometimes the route is never easy, but, the result is what you're looking for. Anyways, that's my journal entry for today. I try and keep it under 10 minutes. Thank you so much for listening. It's been crazy, and I really hope I get some feedback or something, so that way I can try and continue to reach people because I want people to understand that I'm here to help. I'm here to tell you you're not alone. Because for a while there I was alone. And ask and you shall receive, and you shall realize. Everybody will realize you're not alone. I finally got to complete a lot of things that I was hoping to complete for a while that I thought would never ever get completed. But, my friend coming back, it made a lot of things full circle for me. And now I'm really happy. I'm happy with him and I'm happy with us. I hope that we turn out to be something great because he's an awesome person. All right, battery dying. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Like and subscribe.